Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Reviews. Today's episode is all about Inspector Waffles Early Days. A huge thank you to the people over at Game.Press and Golosso Games for providing me with a free review copy. You can play it on the PC, the Switch, the PlayStation and Xbox, which is where I played it, and price-wise you're looking at around £7 to £9 depending on the platform. But here's a wild bit, it's also available on the Game Boy Color. That's not a joke, you can play this on the old school handheld, and whilst I don't have one myself, I love the fact they've done this, and I do love it when developers create games for the older systems out there. What's the deal with the game? Inspector Waffles Early Days is a retro-style top-down detective adventure with classic point-and-click vibes. Think puzzle solving, suspect interrogations and sniffing out clues. You're stepping into the paws of Inspector Waffles, a young, fresh-faced feline starting out in his career. He's partnered up with Pancakes, yes, these are their names. Pancakes is the experienced cop and your mentor for the game. It's actually a prequel to the original Inspector Waffles game, but you don't have to have played that first to enjoy this. I hadn't played it and I never felt lost, though I'm sure returning fans may catch a few extra nods from the first game. Mechanically, the retro vibe kicks in straight away with this game. When you start a new game, the control screen pops up and it shows a Game Boy. It links the controls to the Game Boy. But on the Xbox where I played, movement is the left stick or the D-pad, the A button is your interact and select, and pausing the game will give you options to see the collected clues and items. How's the game structured? Well, the game's broken up into 5 cases with a bonus 6, and each one follows a pretty similar and satisfying loop. Firstly, you're going to investigate the case, you're going to poke around crime scenes, clicking on everything. You'll either uncover clues or get hit with a solid cat or dog pun. The second phase is interrogation, so you're going to question suspects, witnesses and victims, all are anthropomorphic animals. Some will talk freely, others you can tell they're not telling you the full truth. You've got to use the clues you've picked up to press them when they're being shady. The interrogations are very straightforward. Basically, approach a suspect or witness and you'll be given a question you can ask them. They will respond to you and you're going to need to present an item or clue you've picked up that relates to their response. If you don't have one, or you don't have the correct one, well, you've not found it yet, so you're going to need to continue in your quest. If you do have the right clue, you'll unveil the next question. If you're able to satisfy all their questions, usually around 4 or 5, the interrogation is over. And the final part of the case is reporting back. So once you've grilled everyone, you go back to Pancakes and run through your findings. He'll quiz you on the who, how and why of the case. You'll get 3 options for each and you'll find out if you've nailed it or missed something. It's all very straightforward but satisfying. It's not going to melt your brain unless you're hunting for secret achievements. Each mission has a completion rate of 105%, so as well as completing each case, there's extra objectives in each level for you to find. The cases themselves all have an intriguing element to them and sometimes a bit of a knowing nod and wink to the medium they're in. So for example, the first case is all about the theft of a rare and valuable video game cartridge. Now the vibes and style, as mentioned at the very start of this review, visually it's got that retro pixel art look, very much inspired by classic adventure games. The game is played on a Windows screen, mimicking, I guess, handhelds from back in the day, like the original Game Boy, with the left and right parts of the screen displaying artwork. The graphics, whilst retro style, do deliver light-hearted charm into the cast of characters you encounter. The humour's there, but it doesn't overdo it. It's just a really fun world to hang out in for a few hours. Speech is shown as writing on a notebook at the bottom of the screen to enhance the feel of being a detective. Audio-wise, again, think 8-bit style music, it definitely hits you in the nostalgia feels, and there's a wide variety of music in store. It's all done very well, but due to the style of it, it may annoy some after a while. On the Xbox, there are 11 achievements in total, 5 of which are tied to solving each case, and the rest are secret ones tied to optional things within the missions like finding hidden items. So if you like to poke into every corner and uncover all the extras, there's definitely an initiative for you to do so here. So what are the things to watch out for in the game? It's relatively short, it's just 5 cases, so if you're looking for a long game, this isn't going to be that, but for the price, it's a solid few hours. So my stats showing us 100% in the game in around 4 hours, and I've seen online sort of 4 or 5 hours is your average for the game. But what does it do well? Well, the charming characters in the world, the animal cast, the humour, the detective vibe, it's a great mix. It's easy to pick up and play, the puzzles aren't too difficult, and it's structured in a really clear and satisfying way. And as mentioned, there's little bonus content for achievement hunters for those who like to explore the world fully. So to sum up, Inspector Waffles Early Days is a sweet, quirky little detective game that blends classic mechanics with a fun animal twist. Whether you're in it for the mystery, the puns, or just the chance to play a cat detective on your Game Boy Color, seriously, that's still wild, it's worth checking out, especially at the budget-friendly price. Thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Gaming Reviews.